And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Let me make sure my audio is good. Let me see. Yes, we are good to go. What's going on? What is going on? Appreciate everybody joining us on Rated R for Reviews live show here. Today we're talking about Naked and Afraid. I try to do a live stream about Naked and Afraid Apocalypse once a week. Okay, the show comes on. If you don't know, it comes on Discovery Channel. It also comes on HBO Max if you have HBO Max. It comes on there. I like to watch it on HBO Max better just because there's no commercials. When you watch it on Discovery Channel, you're gonna get commercials, things like that. So for me, I like to watch it on HBO Max. That way I can get no commercials, run it all the way through, man. You know what I mean? So that's why I like it. But it comes on there if you guys don't know about it. This is what we're talking about, obviously today. And but if you guys do watch the show, then you guys already know what happened. If you in this last episode, if you don't know what happened, then you're about to find out now. You know what I mean? So Naked and Afraid Apocalypse is this is season one, brand new season, man. Season one. This is the first time ever that they're doing an apocalyptic type setting, right? And so I love the show. Again, I watch almost every Naked and Afraid uh all of them. Naked, just the regular Naked and Afraid, the Naked and Afraid Last One Standing, the Naked and Afraid XL, you know, right? The Naked and Afraid Frozen, right? And now this one, the Naked and Afraid Apocalypse, man. So great, just a great TV show. I love it, man. So we're going to talk about the this is the fifth episode, and we're going to be talking about that today. Salute to a goat, a James in the building. Salute, man. I appreciate you showing up, showing some love. Goat James, aka Chris, aka Let Me Cook This. Right. What's, what's happening with you? Goat James. What's up, bro? Appreciate you showing up, man. Showing some love, my brother, man. So yeah, man. So we're gonna get into it. If you guys watch the show, you guys already know what I'm about to review. But again, again, this is why I really like this type of Naked and Afraid. Hopefully they keep it going. Hopefully they come back. I think I talked about it last live stream. They come back with a season two, but I want the season two to look more like a I don't know, kind of more with a town. I mean, I get it. This type of setting that they have right now, it's just dead wasteland, right? You're looking at just everything's just dead and mildew and bacteria everywhere. You know what I mean? The ground is all burnt up and like because the brush fire just ran through. So that's what it looks like, right? I don't know. I think for season two, hopefully we get to see some type of apocalyptic setting to where it looks like a movie, right? Sometimes like a ghost town, you know what I mean? Something like that. You know what I mean? It can still be run down, buildings or things like that, but I want to see more of a town. You know what I mean? More of like a rundown, broken down, burnt up grocery store. You know what I mean? Something like that, right? You know what I mean? Or a movie theater that's just burnt to the ground. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. But you can go inside it. You know what I mean? I don't know, something like that. You know what I mean? Again, I don't know where you're gonna find something like that. You may have to make it. I don't know, bro. But something like that'll be pretty cool. Something that you see in movies. You know what I mean? Like The Last of Us. You know what I mean? The Last of Us. Where you got like it's a post-apocalyptic type setting, but it's different. Like you know what I mean? But anyway, I don't know where you're gonna find that because normally the Naked and Afraid contestants go into a real setting. They go to real places. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be very very difficult to find, but that'll be great for season two. But anyway, we are here to talk about season one, episode five, triple threat. Okay, so uh, as if you, I'm gonna start from the beginning and then I'm gonna roll the way through, man. So in the beginning, I would say that this is the first thing that I'm gonna say this. The first thing that stood out to me in the beginning of this episode was Frank. Shout out to Frank. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Frank is standing out to be one of the best on this show. I mean, I would say so far, I would say Frank and Waz, those two guys right there are standing out to me as one of the best survivalists so far, you know what I'm saying, in this season. I know Steven, I think Steven, he's a veteran, right? So he's got a lot of experience, right? But so far, just saying, Frank is the one that's been, providing the food, right? Frank has been the one that wanted to start building a shelter, a roof over their shelter. So, because remember, it rained a lot. You know what I'm saying? Last episode, right? So he was like, you know what? Hey, Alexa, let's go out, get some cover. You know, build some stilts. You know what I'm saying? Build some. We can get some cover because the rain. You don't know when it's gonna rain again. So that's what he said. And so and Frank's over there. He hunting. He bringing in food, man. You know what I mean? He's putting shelter. Shout out to Frank, man. You know what I mean? And Waz over there thinking outside the box, you know what I mean? Building a smoker, you know what I mean? When they catch food, you know what I'm saying, or meat, you know what I mean? And so to make beef jerky, you know what I'm saying? He's bringing in the freaking toilet, right? He had the toilet with you know what I mean? So and Waz is thinking outside the box. You know what I mean? So I gotta give a shout out to those two contestants. Those two contestants are very very good, man. And so far in this season, they stand out to me. You know what I mean? Waz with the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And again, remember, Waz was the one with the fishing net in the first episode. And it didn't work. Remember, he didn't catch any fish. They brought the fishing net in the lake, and they brought it all the way, or the pond, or whatever, and they didn't catch no fish. And all of a sudden, Waz thinking, because of his knowledge, he knew that catfish go inside the mud underneath the water. They go inside the mud and they chill up in there. So he had to dig inside the mud and grab the catfish out. You know what I mean? And so that's knowledge, man. You know what I'm saying? Frank. This stood out to me in this episode. Frank said that he knows that the catfish, what the catfish does is they go underneath, they swim in, right? They go underneath the mud and then they turn themselves and make like a sort of cocoon, right? And they chill under there for the dry season, and then they come back up and they swim. Bro, knowledge, right? Knowledge. And then so I'm watching this episode, and I'm like, okay, that's great knowledge. I didn't know that, right? And then he takes he got his bow and arrow, and he's shooting his bow and arrow because he sees cat. Bro, the water's not clear, but he sees catfish, right, swimming in this muddy freaking water that you can't see. You can barely see them pop their freaking fin up. It's insane. And he's looking at it, he's like, yeah, I got this. He takes his bow and arrow, wham, right? Bro, I swear to God, I didn't think he was going to hit one. I got to be honest. I was like, there's no way he's going to, bro. You can't even see it. Sure enough, Frank took that bow and arrow, bam, got his ass. I was like, oh, look at Frank. Hey, shout out to Frank. Frank freaking pinned it. I was like, there's no way he shot. There's no way he hit that. The only person I would say I've seen use a bow and arrow and pin a catfish in a muddy freaking water where you can't even see him. The only person I've seen do that was like Matt. And Matt's just an expert at his, at bow and arrows. You know what I mean? So I've seen Matt do it. But anybody else, I no. Right? You know what I mean? And so he did it. And I was like, hey, Frank, that's 2 kills with the bow and arrow from Frank. Okay, Frank is providing, man. Shout out to Frank, bro. So anyway, he hit the catfish, and I was shocked. And then so he brought it back. Then he's feeding his group. He feeding Steven. He feeding Alexa, right? So shout out to Frank, man. So anyway, that was one of the things that stood out to me, right? Then it jumps to the next scene, right? Of Joe, right? Joe, Joe is of course we all know Joe's by himself. You should know by now. Joe's by himself. His partners end up leaving. They tapped out, right? And so Joe, I don't know what Joe is he's just in a bad location. He is just around. So he's just surrounded by big, giant, massive elephants, and so he's all saying, you know what, I got to get to higher ground, right? So he's all trying to build some things to get to higher ground. I'm like, Joe, man, look, man, if an elephant wants to just attack your ass, you dead, bro. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, there's nothing you can do, man. You can't outrun it. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just, I get it, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's gonna be tough. So anyway, yeah, that Joe is funny. But anyway, the next scene that stood out to me, and you guys already know where I'm going, is Wes and Steve, right? So Wes and Steve are chilling in their camp, right? Their boma, right? And they hear something on the outside, right? They hear like some growls or something like that. They hear something on the outside. So like, what the heck is that? So they go and they peek, and it's a freaking lion, a male, big freaking lion that's just chilling and just watching them. And I would say, from the camera view, I would say he was about like 30 yards away. Now, of course, you got trees and stuff like that, whatever, but you can see them, right? All the trees are dead. It's all brown and dead trees, right? So, but you can still see them, right? And the lion's just chilling. He's just sitting there watching them, right? And then so, and Wes is sitting there like frozen. He was like, "Oh crap!" And then Steve was in the chilling. He was laying down, and Steve was like, "What? What happened?" And he was like, "Bro, it's a freaking big ass lion that's sitting." And so Steve comes up and he's like, "Holy crap, this thing's huge!" So so the scary part though, now normally the lions, whatever, if you see a lion or an elephant or whatever, hyena, whatever it is, a hippopotamus, whatever it is, normally it ends up just walking away, right? Well, this male lion decides to charge at them. Like bro, he was coming fast, bro. Bro, the West was like, "Holy crap, here he comes!" And the lion was starting, bro. It looked like the lion was on the hunt. Okay, that's how fast he was moving. He was coming, and then so they decide, well, the only thing you can do, okay, is start banging on stuff, right? So they had like some sticks or something like that. They start banging on like metal of their boma, right? Their little shelter, right? They start banging, they're making all this noise, and I gotta be honest. I thought the lion was gonna be like, man, forget y'all noises. I'm coming at you. And now the producers and stuff like that had to step in to shoot his ass. Because let's keep it real, bro. I know for I know. Hold on. I know for a fact. Okay, now I get it. These are contestants that are in a apocalyptic setting, right? There's lions everywhere, right? Now, again, they're supposed to be by themselves, but there's no freaking way that I don't think that the producers, the cameraman, whatever it is, they all gotta have some type of weapons. Okay, they gotta have something, bro. You cannot be in a place with lions and elephants and you don't have any type of rifle. Like you gotta have something. So bro. There's no if that lion. Okay, luckily when all that noise they started banging on, right? Luckily the lion was charging and then it ended up going away, and it was charging them at first and then it went this way. So luckily it just left, right? But if the lion just kept charging, bro, the rifles had to be in the ready. They had to be in locked and loaded, okay? Because bro, they have the people that's the contestants. They don't have anything. They got a machete, right? Okay, cool. But let's keep it real, bro. The lion's probably gonna freaking bite your arm off before you before your partner can machete his ass. Like you know what I'm saying? So and you don't even want it to get that close. So I'm pretty sure the camera crew or whatever it is, they got some freaking people with rifles, man. They probably had we couldn't see it on the TV screen, but I guarantee you they had their rifles up and ready. Bro, there was no they had to. And I bet you it was like five of them. They all was ready. Because you don't know what these animals are gonna do. Like you know what I mean? So so anyway, and you gotta keep your contestants safe. You know what I'm saying? That I mean I get it, they're supposed to be by themselves, naked and afraid, right? You know what I mean? But yeah, there's no way. And you know what? I googled this, by the way, a while back, because when I first started watching Naked and Afraid, I googled this, and I had put in Google, has anyone died or gotten injured by, like, I mean, like a vicious animal, you know what I'm saying, like a lion, or bitten, got they leg bit off by a shark, you know what I'm saying, something like that. I googled it, and no, there's never been anybody that's gotten injured like that, like any limb getting taken off or anything like that, bitten by a lion or shark. Nothing like that has happened before. Of course, you get bites by little things like a snake, you know what I mean, or a scorpion, you know what I'm saying, or a spider, but anything huge like a freaking lion or a shark, like no, nothing like that has happened yet, right? So that's a good thing. But yeah, so anyway, luckily the lion ended up going away. But so that stood out to me, one of the things that stood out to me the most was that scene right there. But anyways, fast forwarding, right? Uh Steven's group, right? Let me if you guys don't know, I got you. I got you. Just in case you guys don't know who I'm talking about, right? Put it on your screen right here. Okay. Steven's group. Steven's group consists of course, Frank and Alexa, right? So Steven's group decides they want to, finish their roof on their shelter, right? And so they said, you know what, we should go get some materials to finish our shelter. And so they go grab this big old giant like metal piece, right? And they the metal piece was kind of heavy, right? It took Frank and Steven was holding it and trying to bring it back to their camp, and they were like going inches. I was like, okay, that thing's pretty heavy, right? And then they lifted it up, right? They put it on top of their roof. Their roof wasn't there was bro, their roof that they put it on wasn't secure at all. It was they had sticks. Okay, look, sticks, right? And the sticks wasn't even the sticks were sitting on another stick that was like in a stick that was made out of a V shape on top, and the other stick. I was like, bro, are the sticks even like like are they pinned to the ground? I mean, what are we doing here? Like, you know what I mean? And so anyway, they put the freaking metal piece. It was a huge metal piece, man. I want to say at least like how long was that metal piece? It was at least a it was pretty long. I would say probably like at least like what 3, 4, nah, about six, probably like 6 feet, something like that. It's pretty big, right? So they put it on top of their roof of their sticks, right? And sure enough, the sticks wasn't staked in the ground, at least not enough for a big giant metal piece like that, right? So of course, all of remember, Alexa and Frank had did their stilts and try to build something, at least the foundation of their roof. In the last episode, they just couldn't finish it because the rain ended up coming in. So right, so now they want to finish it, and it was weird because when they had said that they wanted to put stack the roof up with leaves, a whole bunch of branches, a whole bunch of leaves on top, right? That way when the rain comes, you know what I'm saying, you still good, right? And then they changed it to this big old giant metal piece. I don't know why, but that's what they want to do. And so, sure enough, the metal piece collapsed their whole freaking. It collapsed their whole roof. And and sure, and then they had to start over from scratch, man. I kind of knew that was going to happen. I was like, bro, that metal piece is pretty big. Even me and my wife were watching it, and my wife was like, even if they got that up there to stay, I'm not sleeping underneath that thing. Like, that thing does not seem secure at all. And I agree. I was like, dude, what are we doing? That thing is no, And sure enough, it ended up collapsing, man. They had to start all the way over, man. You know what I mean? And then eventually they started over and they built their sticks, but they staked it in the ground, and then they stacked the roof up with leaves like they wanted to do in the first place, right? That's what you're supposed to do. Man. I don't know why they changed it up, but hey, whatever. It is what it is, right? So but but anyway, so another thing was oh, look at my wife right there. Too heavy. Yeah, it was way too heavy, man. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what made them think that would work. Um, yeah, I don't know. And I don't know. I don't remember whose idea it was either. But I hope it wasn't Steven because so far I know Steven's the leader of the group, but Steven has been being outperformed by Frank so far. Frank has brought in a couple times for them to eat, right? He brought in a freaking antelope. I think an antelope one time, right? And then he brought in a catfish, right? Um, and then he wanted to start, building a roof for the shelter, right? And remember it was him and Alexa that started building that roof. And remember Steven was out there trying to hunt. He didn't bring back nothing, but Frank is the one that's been handling it. So far, Frank has been the one that's been standing out in that group so far. So just saying, right? Um, and then of course later on in this episode, Frank stood out again because I'll get to there later, but because I want to talk about something else first. But yeah, Frank is he's doing really good, man. So he's standing out, man. So anyway, so later on in the episode, right? Oh yeah. So I'd say this: Wes and Steve, they're chilling in their boma, right? And Wes and Steve are laying down, and Steve just I don't know. Hey, shout out, bros! Perfect timing. All right. So Steve's he sits up a little bit and he looks at Wes, and right behind Wes's head is a black mamba snake, just like appearing at it, bro. A baby one. It wasn't that big. Okay. It was, no, yeah, in the TV show they showed a black mama snake, right? And it was massive, bro. I think it was like a freaking anaconda, right? And it's so, but this one that they showed, it was about this big, you know what I mean? About a baby snake, right? Slithering around. And Steve was like, holy crap, bro, this freaking black mama right there. And Wes was like, what? So luckily, shout out to Steve, man, because they say the black mamba snakes, man. If they bite you, man, you better you better evacuate quickly because you're gonna be dead in like what they say. I think they said you can be dead from a black mamba snake. I think in like 30 minutes. I think something like that. It's quick. Like it's pretty bad. So yeah, you don't want to get bit by one of them. Those are very very, yeah, dangerous. So anyway, so luckily he got up in time, right, and he didn't get bit. Now this part I did not know. Now he started getting burnt ash, right, and started spraying it on the floor where the black mamba came from, right? And then so I was like, well, why is he doing that? I didn't know that, right? Well, I then of course this is why I like the show because the show explains to you why they do things, right? And so the show said that black mamba snakes, they don't like the heat, so they try to stay away from anything that's no any type of heat, right? They try to stay cool, right? And so if you put hot ash where the snakes can come from, they don't even go that way. They just go somewhere else. So I didn't even, hey, shout out to, hey, see, that's knowledge right there, man. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that this show teaches you, man, and I love it, man. So shout out to, hey, that's good, man. So anyway, I gotta move on to this because this is I don't know, this show may not be that long because I got other things to do, right? So but I gotta go to this scene too. So I'm gonna talk about this person twice. Okay. I gotta talk about this person twice. Now, Teal. Is that her name? Let me make sure, man. Teal. Yeah, that's the one. Teal was on her hunt mode. But first of all, let me rewind. Waz and Teal are practicing their bow and arrow skills, right? Now, why shout out first of all, I gotta say this. Shout out to Waz, okay, because Waz admitted that he's not really a hunter like that. You know what I mean? But Teal is. And so Waz was like, well, makes sense then. Why don't you go hunt? Now, and I say shout out to Waz because a lot of men have ego. So some men would be like, well, I know I don't hunt and I know you really, really good at it, but I'm gonna go do it anyway because I'm the man, right? A lot of guys do that. And so Waz didn't do that. Waz was like, hey, you got it then. That's smart. That's that, bro. If you're trying to eat, you're trying to survive. You let the more experienced hunter go do it, male or female. I don't give a damn who it is. I don't give a damn if it's a freaking midget. You go out there and you go hunt. Then you go do your thing. If you got more experience than me, then go do it. Makes sense. So shout out to Waz for letting her handle it. Right now, I gotta say this though. She goes out there. She builds her cover, right? Got some nice little brush leaves there, some sticks, you know what I mean? She builds some cover. She puts like a little whatever over her freaking body, right? To blend in, to put some camouflage over her body, right? She has the bow and arrow, she's sitting there. And here comes some Nylas, right? First of all, they only showed like two or three. It was like two or three Nylas that was coming, right? And they were coming like super, super close to her. And she was like, oh, there's a Nihilus, right? So she got her bow and arrow ready. She's sitting down. All of a sudden, about three more come out. Bro, it was like six of them that was bunched up right in front of her. I would say they were like, I would say they were like at 15 yards away, maybe like about 15 yards away. She gets her bow and arrow. She gets up. Now, I'm already thinking this. I'm like, okay, that's an easy shot. There's six of them bunched up. Don't even aim at one of them. Just shoot it right in the middle. They're all bunched up. Just get up, get that bow and arrow, and then wham, whoop. There you go. You bound to hit one of them. Just shoot the bow and arrow right in the middle. You gonna hit one of them, right? She gets up and she takes a step to the side, another step to the side. I'm like, what are you doing? I guess she built her shelter and she was sitting directly in the middle of her shelter, right? And I'm like, what the hell? Why would you do that? Like normally, and that's the first time I've seen that because normally anybody that's in cover, they'll be behind a tree and they build some cover or whatever like that. They build the cover to where they have like a little box arrow or whatever it is, a little pathway, a little window to where soon as that freaking animal comes in, I'm already ready, right? This is the first time I've seen somebody get up and move to the side like two or three times. I'm like, oh man, because you don't know what you're gonna step on. You could step on a stick that can crack. And bro, these animals are sensitive. Their ears are very sensitive because they get hunted all the time. They're sensitive, right? So any type of noise that they hear, they're running away, right? And so all these stepping that she doing, I'm like, oh my god, you're gonna step on something, a crushed leaf that's just, you know what I mean? Anything. Sure enough, she's stepping, right? She lifts up her bow and arrow, right? And then she had to shoot quickly because one of the freaking Nylas head ended up popping up and saw her. And of course, once one of them run, they all running. That's how it goes, right? So she decides she pulled it back. Soon as she pulled it back, they saw her, and then one of them started running, and then she let go, right? She had to do it pretty quickly. Of course, she missed, and I was like, oh, they were like, it was like six of them, 15 yards away. I was like, oh my god, you bound to hit one of them. She missed all of them. All of a sudden, she gets back to her camp, and she tells Waz that she missed, and because she aimed for the littlest one. I was like, what? Why would you aim for the most? Bro, you had six of them 15 yards away, and you aim for the littlest one? No, aim for the bigger one. It's a bigger target. What the hell? Don't it, first of all, I wouldn't even aimed. I would have just freaking just shot in the middle of the group. You bound to hit one of them. You know what I mean? They were all bunched up in the middle. Just shoot in the middle. She decided she wanted to aim for the littlest one. I was like, oh my God, what are we doing? Not smart. Not smart, man. Anyway, I kind of was shocked when I heard that. I was like, oh, this girl here. What are we doing, man? Anyway, so I again remember I told you guys I want to talk about her twice, right? Later on in the episode, Waz was snooping around during right walking around, and he sees this Nyla just chilling in some brush trees, right? And he's all like, "Ooh," and it's just chilling. It's not even moving. It's just chilling there. And he's like, "It's alive," because his head is up. And he's like, "Oh my god!" And so he tells Teal, "Hey, there's a Nyla over there. It's alive, but it's not moving, right?" So she gets her bow and arrow. She goes over there, and she look she gets it and she looks, and then she's all like, "Hold on." She look again, and then in the camera they zoomed in on the Nyla, right? Now she was walking. She was in plain sight. There was no cover. There was no hiding. There was no nothing. She walked in plain sight, and the Nyla's just chilling. And when they zoomed in on the Nyla, the eyes of the Nyla looked like it looked blind to me, right? If you look at the if you look at a Nyla, normally their eyes are black, right? This Nyla eyes were like pure white, pure white. looking like freaking Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, right? It was just pure white, and I was like, okay, no, something's got the night he has to be blind because, and then of course she creeping up on him with her bow and arrow. He's not even moving. She got super close to him, at least like 10, 15 yards away, and it wasn't even budging. And I was like, yeah, nah, something's going on with that Nyla. I think it was blind, and it was a baby one too. It was tiny, right? It wasn't even full. It wasn't even full grown. And so anyway, she shot when she shot it. Of course, then after she hit it in the chest, she actually hit it in the chest. Then all of a sudden it jumped up in the air. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. It died about like 5 minutes later, um, and she felt bad. She felt bad that she actually killed a Nyla, and she started crying about it, right? And I think because when you're going on these shows, eventually you're gonna have to kill something to survive, right? Um, and remember last time they got a Nyla, it was a full grown Nyla, but it was already dead, and so it was easy to just be like, oh well, let's just cut it up. Boom, you got some meat. This time she had to actually kill a baby one that was either injured or blind or whatever it is. Something was going on because it didn't even move. So she felt bad about it, and I can see what she's talking about. I can see what she's feeling like. I mean, it's one thing to because I think it's easy, or should I say not easy, but it's easier to you know eat a burger, but it must be, but it's got to be harder to actually kill. What I'm saying, the animal to make the burger. Like what I'm saying. Um, and so I think for her it was just you know it's easy to eat something when you don't see where it's coming from, where it's coming from. You know where it's coming from, but you don't have to actually perform the task to kill an animal. And I think for her, it got her, man. It got her. So she started crying. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, I feel her pain. You know what I'm saying? That has got to be a little devastating. It's a little hard to do. So yeah, I get that. I get that, man. So anyway, but you gotta do what you gotta do. You're in an apocalyptic setting, so you have to do what you gotta do, man. So shout out to her. Shout out to her. So and Waz was trying to make her feel better. You know what I mean? That's the one thing I like. That's another thing about Waz too. Waz is he knew that she was feeling really bad about what she did, and he tried to comfort her, man. You know what I mean? And pretty much cheer her up a little bit. You know what I mean? Because you don't want this to I don't think it will, but you don't want this to take her out. You know what I'm saying? Just something like that. She's pretty tough, tough minded. So she'll be okay. But still, you don't want something like this to take her out. You know what I mean? So Waz had to, put some encouragement back in her herself, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. So shout out to Waz, man. So anyway, moving on. I gotta say this. Moving on to Joe really quick. Joe made another trap, right? Remember last episode, his fishing basket ended up working and catching him a catfish, right? So Joe decides I'm gonna make another trap and put it in the water. Now, here, you know what? This is where I don't understand because the fishing basket hardly ever works. It hardly ever works, but yet it worked this time. I'm like, okay, cool, right? And then so he decides he's gonna make another fishing trap. I was like, there's no way, bro. The fishing basket hardly ever works. You got lucky with that. There's no way you're gonna make another trap and it's gonna work again. I don't think so, right? So he makes the trap anyway. He makes the trap. He puts it in the water. Sure enough, this fool gets another freaking. This time he doesn't get a fish. He gets a turtle. A turtle. It was a baby turtle, but still, he got a turtle. I was like, these fishing assets. The only fishing asset I know works is the fishing line, right? When you actually go in there, throw your line in there and actually fish, right? The fishing traps hardly ever work, and this fool's trap worked twice. He got a fishing turtle. I was like, wow, okay. And of course, in the show, I love when the show explains. The show explained that the fishing turtle that he got it's pretty much equivalent to a pretty much a burger patty. right? And so he pretty much ate a burger patty. Of course, he had to cook it and things like that, but that's what he ate. You know, I don't, I don't understand, man, but these traps are working for him. You know what I mean? And so, hey, shout out to him, man. So, yeah, it is what it is. But I have to say this, I'm gonna move on to Steven's group, man. So Steven and back in over there on Steven's group, right? Steven and Alexa are chilling, and Frank, I'm telling you, man, Frank is standing out. Okay, to be one of the best ones on this show so far. So he is walking around trying to find some food, and he's walking around, and he because of his knowledge, he knows that there's scorpions that be underneath, right, underneath the ground, right, in muddy areas, right, kind of like muddy areas, dirt areas or whatever, right. And so he's digging around. Of course, you got to be careful because those stingers. Yeah, he even said it. He's been stung at least a lot in the back in the United States. He never been stung in Africa, but and this according to the show, the certain scorpions in Africa are like deadly, right? So, and he said it. The if you get stung by a scorpion, sometimes sometimes it'll hurt for a day, sometimes it'll hurt for a week. Like, you know what I mean? Like your body just goes numb for a week sometimes, right? You know what I mean? And so anyway, so he's digging, and he found a scorpion. Now, of course, after you got to cut off the freaking stinger, right? But he found it, and so he goes, "Dead Spectre, what up, bro? Hey, appreciate you showing up, showing us a salute. Dead Spectre in the building. I see you, man." So he finds I'm already at the end, man. But anyways, he finds I don't know, bro. He takes the scorpion back to his camp, right? And he tells Steven and Alexa, "Hey, let's go. I know where some scorpions are at, right?" I don't know how he knew this, but all of a sudden, Alexa, Steven, Frank, they're all digging in freaking these dirt, and they started finding all these damn scorpions. I was like, what the heck's going on here? How did he know? Bro, I don't know. He knew that was like a scorpion ground, right? And so they digging, bringing all this dirt, and they find, bro, they had a stick, and they had all these damn scorpions on it. It had like 6 scorpions on there. Bro, I don't know. Like Frank is coming through for his group. Okay, this is why I said, Frank, man, so far I know Steven is the guy in charge, right? But Frank has been the one to yeah, bro, he's been the one that's been providing for his team so far, man. And so I got to give a shout out to Frank, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. So anyways, they got plenty of scorpions to go cook and they go eat. And that one thing too, really quick, before I move on to I want to talk about Waz what happened with Waz's group later, really quick. Um One thing, they was eating the scorpions, right? And I think Steven was the one that was in the camera, and he had said that the scorpion tasted like burnt burnt dirt. And I was like, well, did you rinse it off at first before you cooked it, or did you like these scorpions was in the ground, right? I, I don't know, but for me, I'm not gonna just take it out the ground, put it on a stick. Okay, it's done, it's dead, right? And just slap it on to cook it. I, I'm gonna dip it in some water or something. Like I'm trying to get all that dirt off first, then I'm gonna cook it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. What is up? What's up, man? He said, "Hey, when the shelter fell down, man, I laughed out loud." And then they talked about, and yeah, I said that earlier too. He said using common sense, and they put the same structure. Yeah, I didn't, I said that earlier too. I was like, the first time. Remember in the last episode, Frank and Alexa built the ground for the shelter, right? They just didn't finish it because it started to rain. And but in that episode, they had said that they wanted to make the roof out of like leaves. And then all of a sudden, I don't know whose idea it was to go get this freaking big ass, heavy ass metal piece to put on top. Why would you do that? I don't know, man. And then of course it didn't work, right? So then they had to rebuild their freaking sticks, stake it into the ground again, and then at the top they had to they had to wrap it with vines because at first it wasn't wrapped with nothing. What the hell? I don't know how the hell you would think that would work, right? You didn't wrap it with nothing. I don't know. And so this time they wrapped it and they put leaves on top. I don't know whose idea it was to say, yeah, I'm about to go ahead and get this metal piece. I don't know. I don't know, man. Anyway, so so anyway, yeah. So shout out to Frank. Frank he's been providing, man. So shout out to him. Really quickly, at the end of the show, it was they showed Waz and Teal, right? Waz, again, Waz's knowledge and him thinking outside the box is like amazing, right? So he built a smoker. Remember they just killed the Nala, right? So they cut it up. It was a baby Nala, of course, but they cut it up. They got the meat, whatever. And he built the smoker, and then he built like he grabbed some type of like metal. I don't know what the hell he grabbed. It was like a I don't know some metal piece to put it on top of his barrel that he built. Right. It was like a barbecue pit. Put the meat on there, bro. Brilliant. Right. Something. See, this is what and when you're in this type of setting, you gotta think outside the box, man. And I am on my fifth. This is episode 5, and I think every single episode I've seen Waz think outside the box and provide and do something for his group to where I'm like, bro, that's genius, right? You know what I mean? And of course, his knowledge, of course, we talked about it last time. His knowledge of knowing, yeah, there's a fish that's gonna be inside the mud underneath the water, so I can grab. Like just watching Waz, and this is what I'm saying. I said this in the beginning of today's live stream. Waz and Frank, those two guys to me are like the most standoutish contestants so far. You know what I mean? So anyway, shout out to Waz, man. And again, he made his smoker, man. And they cooked all the meat. You know what I'm saying? And they made jerky, right? Got to make your jerky. And so now later on that night, and this is near the end. This was the end of the episode. Later on that night, they had all their meat inside of their shelter, right? And then they get a little visitor by a female lion. Now they couldn't see it. It's at night. They couldn't see it, but they showed the camera at nighttime. They showed the camera right on the outside, and it was a lion. And now they heard. I think Teal. Yeah, Teal was the first one that heard something, and she was like, she thought she thought it was him. She woke up out of her sleep, and she was like, "Is that you?" And Wasp was like, "Hell no, that ain't me." I was like, "Hey, I think at this point I don't know, they like used to noise, right? Because they didn't move at first, right? If it were me, bro, I'm like, if I'm asleep, and as soon as I hear anything, I'm jumping up. I'm like, hold on, what is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? But I guess at this point, they're just like whatever about it, right? So they're like, yeah, there's something outside. So after like a couple of minutes, finally Teal sits up and she's like, "No, I think I heard some growl this time. Something out there sounds pretty big." And so then Waz gets up and he's all like, "Oh yeah, that is some growling out there." And so yeah, and so anyway, we didn't get to see what happens. Of course, they left us with a cliffhanger, right? Little cliffhanger. But so the female lion, is snooping around their camp. And I think it's because they got all the meat. You know what I mean? So we're not gonna know what happens to them until next episode. But yeah, that was interesting. But he said, "Why isn't Joe migrating? His ego too big?" Yeah, the Spectre. I don't know. I don't. I because none of them are going anywhere. But I remember at the beginning, right? One of the challenge is to not only survive in the apocalypse second, but you got to go find civilization. We're on like day what? Day 17, day 18, whatever it is, and they're not moving. And I think they said that the grounds, the deadlands or wasteland, whatever it is, it's like I think they have to travel. How many miles? I know no, there's no way it was 80 miles. I don't know why 80 miles sticks out to me, but I know there's can't be 80 miles. There's no way. There's no way. It's not 80. It's something else. But they got to travel some miles to go find civilization, right? And but none of them are moving. And so I don't know if that's the like the show like telling them like, oh, you can't move until this day. Like maybe they can't move anywhere till day 20, you know. But even then, I feel like that's way too that's I feel like that's way too late. You know what I mean? Because they're only going to be out there for 35 days, right? So if you got to travel all these miles and you can't leave until day 20, you only got 15 more days left. That's only like 2 weeks. So I don't know. I don't know. They didn't really explain that part. You know what I mean? And so I don't know if they gotta wait until day 20 or day whatever, or they can just go on their own. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I don't know, Joe. And but I don't know because remember Amber and what's the name, Kale? They left, right? Kale didn't want to be in the group, and she went to another group. So I mean, so I think Joe can go to another group. So I guess yeah, he still can. So I don't know. He just doesn't want to. I guess I don't know. But I mean, hey, he's doing okay. He caught that turtle, right? So yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, yeah, she did. And that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know if like you can if you can just go on your own. Like you know what I mean? So I don't know. That's kind of interesting. Like the show didn't explain when they have to leave. Unless I missed it. Unless I missed it. I don't remember. But yeah, so pretty weird. But yeah, man. So anyway, that's the show right there, man. Again, we gotta wait and see what happens to Waz and Teal with that lion. But yeah, pretty weird. Again, the editing, man. I don't think nothing's gonna happen to him. You know what I'm saying? Just like I said with the earlier with the lion encounter of Wes and Steve, right? That lion was charging at their ass, and then of course them banging on the metal the their metal shelter. The lion ended up turning away, right? So, and like I said before, there's no way, there's no way the camera crew didn't have rifles that locked and loaded at the ready. You had to, bro. It's a damn lion, right? Just saying. So anyway, I think in the, so I think Waz and Till they're gonna be okay. But good cliffhanger though. I tell you that. I mean, I can't wait to watch the rest. So, but yeah. Anyway, he said if Joe move Waz and Steve West and Steve have jerky for him to eat as well. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, Waz and well West and Steve do. Wait, wait. Something happened. Hold on. Was it Wes's group where their meat end up getting rotten or not rotten? Well, yeah, kind of like rotten where they had to throw it away. Was that Wes? I think that was Wes's group. I don't remember. Oh, was that Waz's group? No, I think it was Wes. Remember they wanted to eat. They went to go eat some of their jerky and their meat had gone bad. I don't remember which group that was. I don't know. I don't think it was Stevens. Damn. See, I already forgot. I just watched this like earlier today, like a couple hours ago too. I already forgot it. Anyway, somebody's meat went bad. Yay, yay. You know what I mean? So anyway, Carrie Ann was invincible with those shots with the line. I'm telling you, bro. Hey man, hey, I'm telling you, man. It's when you in a setting like this, especially with that line was like 15 yards away. Like you know what I mean? Like there's no way the camera crew don't have at least 6 guys behind them, freaking rifle ready. Like you know what I mean? You gotta have something, man. You dealing with lions, bro. You gotta have something. You know what I mean? So I know again, like I said earlier, I know you got a machete. That Weston they had a machete, but still, there. Come on, bro. Like that machete not gonna do nothing until after your arm gets bit off. Like just saying. So yeah, man. He said, "Why until right?" Okay, okay, yeah, because of the rain. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I knew it was one of them. I thought it was West, but yeah, okay, was until. All right, cool. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, man. So anyway, that is that's it for me. Appreciate everybody joining us on Radar for Reviews. Again, I go live for these every week, Tuesday or Wednesday. I try to do Tuesdays, but Tuesdays is kind of tough for me, man. Tuesdays, it's difficult for me to go Tuesdays. But I try to. If I'm awake, I try to. But look for Tuesday or Wednesday because that's my days off. For right now, hopefully that changes. But because I want my Monday, Tuesday back. Hopefully. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week. I think there's gonna be we will be doing a live show tomorrow. I think there's gonna be some more people because it's a group of five of us, right? And so I won't be on tomorrow, but um my sister and her friend and the other co-hosts, I think they're doing a show on. Let me make sure. They're doing a show on. If you guys, well, I haven't seen the show, but where is it at? Okay, they're doing a show on. What's it called? A show called Sirens. It's on Netflix. I never seen it, never heard of it, but they're doing a live show to talk about a show called Sirens um, tomorrow. So look out for that show tomorrow. Big facts, man. Family comes first, man. Hey, big facts, big facts, big facts. Yes, sir. Uh, so yeah, look out for that show tomorrow. And for me, I'll be back next week. So yeah. I am working on a video for right now for Avengers Secret Wars. I'm working on that video right now. So look out for that video as well. That will be posted on Friday. So appreciate everybody joining us, man. That's it for me. I'll see you guys next week. Hit the like button, subscribe, of course, all that good stuff. And we are out of here. Appreciate y'all, man. Peace out.